Good morning, everybody. It is actually day 45 of our everyday broadcasts this spring of 2020, but we're going to keep these videos up on our website, embedded into our Wolf Journey Earth Conservation courses, all the pages that describe the study experiences that you can go through as part of Trail of the Neighborhood Naturalist. Today we are on study experience 1B. And we are planning to go almost every day during the rest of this late springtime. And then our plan is to go every Saturday live. Now, of course, you don't have to watch it live. You may be watching this 10 years from now. But these are, our descriptions of how to go about going through this trail to become your neighborhood naturalist. And it is based on a philosophy of urban and rural habitat conservation. As a matter of fact, the Neighborhood Naturalist is in 4 parts. First part is all the basic skills every naturalist needs to build. Second and third, the second part is on plant-based fungal natural studies, and the third part on animals and learning how to journal those. And the fourth part is on a conservation project that you can do. Like, for instance, right here on the porch is my study site starting yesterday. And I'm going to show you what we're going to be doing today, which is drawing and mapping your study site. I call it capturing the moment, because I'm going to show you why. This is the last study site I had last time I went through my own curriculum. Done this process everywhere I've lived. Now, 10 years ago, Kim and I moved in here to her grandparents' old house that we got. Was sitting empty for many years. And there were some old windows here, and my study site was looking out the window. That's our old dog, Sky, if you can see her right there. And old windows looking out onto our bird feeders, which we still have out there. We set up earlier this spring on live broadcast, as you might remember, those that watched that. And anyway, so out there was that. Now, since then, that area has become the main entrance, going in and out, and all this Wolf Camp staff and everybody going in and out. And so it's no longer really very functional for a very peaceful place. However, the front as porch has become perfect because, we don't use this for in and out. Also, we've installed an orchard out front. It has become very diverse. It's pretty great. Now, you may be starting with a absolutely plain porch that has nothing on it, which is fine, because look at this.
I'm blocking.
I brought in today.
Get out of the way.
Oh, no, that's good.
There you go.
Just slide over a little bit right there. Perfect. I brought in this potted plant, and it is, I'll move it so you can kind of see it as comparison to the other shrubs and stuff. This is a Western red cedar tree. If those of you that watched our April 22nd, 2020, 50th anniversary of Earth Day broadcast, we planted a Western red cedar tree. These were, we have a few of these potted up that were seedlings from Kim's parents' house, where old cedar tree drops a bunch of seedlings all the time. And so this is in here is going to be my square foot that I'm going to be studying the what goes on in it here.
Oh, don't move it.
Don't
move it.
Kim's like, don't touch it.
Don't touch it.
But I want to look at what's underneath there.
Well, not it.
I already messed with it a little over here to keep it pushed up. Sorry. Now, the other thing, Kim doesn't quite, she knows this, a little bit.
No.
But we are, of course, rebuilding this porch someday when we can get to it. Maybe might take another 10 years, especially now that everything's on hold in this spring of 2020. But that will mean that this will have to come out.
We're going to put in a deck hole.
Well, so you want me to build the deck around that?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, we did that out on the backside when we rebuilt that, have that be the main entrance. There's also a rhododendron in the way over there, but it looks like we can get around it a little bit.
Well, the roadie, we can do what we need to do. That mock orange, though.
I know, mock orange.
That has the best smell ever.
Now, and also the camellia. Those of you on YouTube can see, but the Facebook can't. Is really blocking my view.
Oh, blocking your.
So, and it's way too big. I mean, obviously,
We need to trim it.
You need to have the front be kind of aesthetically pleasing out toward the street.
Not wild and woolly.
Yeah, and then I'll be able to see a little bit more. And also, I kind of want my main view, that's why we're set up today, to be that direction, because we've got the bees over there. We've got the beautiful mix of shrubs that are underneath the giant Lombardy poplar, spruce, all that kind of thing. It's a little bit more private over there. So I want that to be my main study.
Oh, so you'll tend to sit over on this side.
No, I'm going to sit right here. I love this spot and look to my left.
Oh, you're going to turn your head.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So
all right.
today I'm going to be drawing like this, everybody can see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so if you read the description of field exercise 1B in the Trail of the Neighborhood Naturalist, it'll just, now I'm going to do it backwards a little bit. I'm going to do the mapping first and the drawing second. In the description, it has you do the drawing first, which is probably a better way to go because it's more of the general feeling.
And that's what I'm going to be doing.
Yes. Just pop over to hers, and then go to the mapping, and then head home or whatever. But yeah, so this is my first. When we first moved in. You don't have to be a perfect artist.
There's the house.
This looks like a kid drew it, but basically what I did was I took a copy off the county website of the plot map, which is basically just a square, and then I drew in our driveway and the house and things like that. I started with that.
And you could just do a satellite image of your area as well.
Oh yeah,
that
so
would be
easy
awesome.
nowadays.
Yep.
Or even better for those that are on a contour or something like that is
the map.
Click on the terrain view, although you have to be way out.
Yeah, that wouldn't.
It doesn't work all close up on Google. So, anyways, and then as our permaculture design, now of course, a few days ago we also did a whole thing on permaculture. It's probably been 3 weeks, and this was the our permaculture design for the entire property, and we are right here I'm right here on the front porch, so I'm going to probably just blow this area up for my map because I already have it kind of done.
So you're thinking that your study area won't go this direction?
Well,
really?
I'm going to go to the corner of the house, which is only about 10 feet off the porch, and then go out to the first edge of the. I'm going to show everybody. Can you hold that one? I'm going to go out to the first edge of the first orchard shrub and tree. So that is about, 30 feet in that direction. So 10 feet that direction, 30 feet in that direction, and then probably more like 50 feet in that direction for my entire study site because, the raccoons and stuff.
So you're going over to the
down
spruce trees?
Yeah.
So you're making a massive, pretty massive area.
Well, that's a general average study site, like full study site area. Now, that's opposite of the square foot that we're going to be mapping tomorrow, which is you want to have a little tiny area within your general big wide study site where you're going to be mapping a very small square foot because so much on a small scale happens. Absolutely necessary for naturalists to be able to understand the basis of the nature. So, okay, I'm going to start. Actually, I'm not going to go into the map because, of course, in my case, I don't have to start from scratch. Most people, of course, will be starting from scratch. Never made a map before, but it's so easy. Like you said, nowadays, you can just print something off the internet of the area that you're doing.
Your bird's eye view.
Yeah, now it might be all full of trees or whatever, but that's kind of cool because if you can get really down as best as possible, oh my goodness, and of course, Google has a 3D thing now. Work on it, y'all. Try to get that 3D image that Google has of little areas.
If you want to use technology, or you can totally not and just do it.
Yes, I'll do it however you want. Just kind of imagine that you're a bird from the top and drawing the area. It describes it there. So I'm going to start from scratch. So on my drawing, there was my old drawing from field exercise 1B 10 years ago, looking out the window for those that are kind of homebound inside, maybe don't even have a porch or a stoop or anything like that, and they just want to look out the window. Hopefully, windows that open. Those didn't.
Didn't.
I did go outside into the yard a lot. And by the way, I've already started a little bit. That's the whole property, and so I'm going to just do this area, and that's kind of what I'm going to be using. I'm going to blow that up on the printer. Get that bigger. All right. So drawing. Now, Kim likes to kind of do an outline.
I'm going to describe it.
But I like drawing something from the inside out. So like the way that a tree grew. Now, trees, of course, grow from, as we described on Earth Day, from the air. It pulls carbon in from the air and builds itself that way. Otherwise, there'd be a big hole in the ground, obviously. So yeah, pulls some minerals out of there, but not really. Mostly pulls carbon out of the air to build its mass. That's why planting trees sequesters carbon and reverses, the greenhouse effect. So, but it obviously starts small and gets bigger, and so that's how I draw. Now, this is going to be fun for me because I like change. Most people don't, I know. I probably do freak out at change and don't. Well, that's true too. I mean, I probably freak out at change and I'm not self-aware enough. But anyways, I'm kind of looking forward to this being cleaned up and changed. And so it'll be interesting to see what this view will be after I do some restoration on it. Now, these are mostly non-native plants right around in here. So I'm not going to feel too bad about it because I'm a big native plant person. Kim's obviously very attached.
Well, mock orange grows here.
Mock orange, yes, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure I've seen a mock orange in the wild out here unless you're watching. But anyways,
I'm gonna
the rest of the country for sure.
Somehow, okay. I'm gonna find it.
Okay. Now you also have to prove that it wasn't planted. All right. So anyway, we're gonna have to research that. I'm gonna write that down.
Oh, you're on it. It's your study
research, site. Whenever you think of things out there, the study site is nice to have some sort of little. I mean, don't always have something out there. You just want to experience it from a heart sometimes. But I do like to, since I'm on my porch, I can go research mock orange. What do you call it when it's in a big area? Endemic. What's the word when it's supposed to be native to the area? Mock orange. If anybody's watching live, please post that I'm spacing out. Okay, so now we do have a couple of things in here that are like our mason bee. It's just above the YouTube, but that's okay because I want the YouTube.
Oh, do you want me to put it on it?
Well, we'll move it up later.
Because they're all cool sitting out there on the edge.
But they saw me yesterday.
Okay, hatching out.
Yep. All right, so I'm going to start with brown because I'm going to start with the tree trunks and things like that. And so, oh gosh, I don't know. I'm just going to do it as I can. And then also I'm going to start with my square foot, which is going to be my potted plant. Woo! Oh, I'm supposed to outline. Well, it's not a growing thing, so there's my pot. And then I'm going to grow my tree out of that. Right now, only about that big.
So what you're actually doing is you're pretending that your tree is growing from the actual seed. And so you start with the seed and then you grow up into the branches and follow your pattern out to the leaves from there.
So there's the trunk and stems of my tree. Can that be seen? I hope so. It's really hard to see because it's so tiny and light. Yeah, obviously I'm not a confident artist enough to be able to do it. I didn't say okay. Sort of all right, and then I'm going to add the leaves on there. All right. Now, probably I did this backwards. I should have done way out and come forward because, that makes sense. Okay, I'm going to start with the stuff.
The nice thing about this, when you're in the field, you can do it the way that works best for you. Mm-hmm. And so, like you just said, how Chris just said, he started with this, his square foot main feature, but maybe you should have started out and come in. You can stop and change plan, and that's just fine. It's just like any work of art. It is what you make it.
Yep. This is my trunk of the big, huge spruce tree, and they have big, huge buttresses at the bottom. That's why they grow in the Pacific Northwest wetlands better than any tree, evergreen tree. And so that's gone way up, obviously. And then I'm going to have to cover that up with a bunch of branches. Oh, that's horrible. Negative self-talk. And I have to put up like a
nice thing.
Positive affirmation on the mirror, although I never look in the mirror. I'll have to put it right here.
Oh, on your post. Yeah. That post is going to be covered.
I don't know how to draw there's droopy and sticky outy.
Well, I'll be speaking to that when I do mine.
Oh, you know what? That's because the branches go sticky outy like that on spruces. And then the actual leaves are really drooping off the spruces big time. So I don't spend too much drawing every single one. Now they have a big, huge Lombardy poplar tree next to it, and it's light colored bark. So I'm going to go with, actually a pencil is about the right color for Lombardy poplar. And oh, it is giant. And also right around it, it's amazing. There's so many other little shrubs. What else do we've got? The hawthorn in there. We got the
there's an ash and a hazelnut.
Yep, all sorts of stuff.
There's some invasive blackberry, and there's also a Eurasian, Eurasian bittersweet.
Mm-hmm. Thing's got to be 200, maybe 170 feet tall.
It definitely stands out in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. All right. And then there'll be a bunch of things. I can't see it very well. Right in front of it is, I'm going to really be psyched to draw in the little bees hives over there, which, again, we installed on the 18th of April, 2020. So you can look at that broadcast. When our friend brought those over, those are his bees that he's keeping here at Blue Sky Farm. All right, and yeah, and then I'm going to draw in everything I've got close up, just to get kind of a heart feeling of your view, and that's going to be you're capturing the moment in time. All right, I'll finish that after we get off camera. Should we head over to your site or go through what you want to talk about?
Sure.
All right. Are we
All
staying
right, let's
here?
move quick.
Okay.
No, I mean, I'm going to
You ready to roll?
do it,
Okay,
yeah.
here we go.
Yeah.
So Kim is, as you can see, I had my, I'm gonna grab my binoculars. And but I'm not going to, because we're gonna stay in the yard. I'm not gonna bring my backpack, but I see you've got yours for safety. Just as we talked about yesterday, it's pretty important to.
So generally speaking, when you're going to go, keep in mind, this one all the time. We keep it up a little bit. Anyway, so generally when you enter your study site, you're going to want to go in as silently as you can because you don't want to disturb anything. Because we're talking on camera, I'm not going to necessarily be silent.
And so also consider going in from different directions.
Yep, yeah. You could go in from different directions, although you could go in from the same direction so as to disturb the area less.
That's true if there's already an established trail.
Yeah. Exactly. So, for those of you out there who've done CPR, when you want to check somebody's breathing, you look, listen, and feel. So I think about that when I'm entering my area. I'm going to look around, see what's going on as I'm coming in because I don't want to disturb anything. I'm going to listen for birds singing and feel. There's two different kinds of feels. There's the emotional feeling of how are you feeling when you're coming into there because you want your intention to be good as you're going into your study site if you can. And also, you can touch the trees as you go by to thank them for being here. Looking, listening, feeling, and smelling. This is due west on my study site. So east is where we came from. North is this direction. South is this direction. So I'm going to always try to approach from the garage area as little as possible or stay close to where the human disturbance area is. So I already know that my square meter area is going to be right in this area right here because my square foot, my study square here, and I don't want to disturb it really either. So I'm just going to set up my chair right here. Got my handy dandy backpack, a little kit in it of things that I like to use. Dun, dun, dun. And for today, so when we talk about mapping the site, you can bring your colored pencils along if you want, but I work a little bit better with just pencil. It stresses me out a little bit less, and I can add color back, but I like to start with pencil. And I like to start with kind of it's like a gesture drawing. So what that means is that you're going to be doing just a quick pencil drawing to just put some main things in your map and to get it out of the way. And then once I start doing the bigger area, I've got a couple of tips for that. So if I'm looking for a blank page, maybe I'll just start at the back. Okay. So I'm going to be drawing my view first, which is just generally what I'm going to be looking at when I'm sitting here. So once again, I've got the garage behind me. I'm going to be looking generally this direction with my square meter that I'm in and my square foot, which is going to be my study foot right there. So what I'll do, things squared up. Some people can do things all crazy, but I'm a really squared up person.
Kim,
so,
I know that we want to be quiet at a study site, but people can't probably hear you very well, so you have to talk loud.
Yeah. Okay, well, anyways, so let's see. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, for my view, I'm going to have the garage behind me. It's not part of my view, but from where I sit, I'm going to have, I like to draw like this too. So I'm going to have a big willow tree here, a split rail fence.
I'm gonna go to the other side of you so that can see because you're right-handed.
Okay, a split rail fence here that's going to extend out of my field of view. I've got, let's see, I know that I've got that really cool snag right back here.
Shouldn't that go straight up and down?
Well, I'm doing kind of just putting it, I mean, it could, but I don't know. Oh no, I'm erasing. Oh, judging. I think you get another sticker.
Oh, there's a song sparrow flying right into your spot.
Anyway, so
it's right up there.
yeah, I mean, you can do it this direction or you can do it. I'm kind of doing it this direction.
Okay.
Everybody has a different map.
Yeah.
And this is just a gesture. I'm just putting this in here. I know it's got the hole. And then I know that there's, so here's a post from my split rail fence here. There's a weird sticky uppy post here.
You're right. Draw it as you see it.
There's another, I've got another big tree. This was my old spot right here. But that's a little crooked, but whatever. It's just a gesture. And there's another tree down here. So over on this side, there's my rail. Here's a weird square post sticking up there. I've got a blueberry here, blueberry here. Oops, that's, oh, I'm not supposed to erase. Blueberry's big, that blueberry's not there, and then there's another blueberry there. And then there's, behind this tree, I've got a nice big branch down, some other branches coming off of that. And then I know that there's a really cool muddy patch right here that extends in.
Oh, is that where we found the tracks?
That's where we found the tracks.
Broadcast about 2-3 weeks ago.
And then, oddly, I've got this weird dirt pile right here. So
you want me to get that out of here? Now, there's a lot of this.
I actually kind of like it.
By the way, you're going to let me weed whack all that canary grass out in front of us?
No.
Well, but I'm allergic to it really bad.
Oh, maybe I'll take the tops off.
Besides, it is super invasive. We really need to restore it somehow.
All right. Well, anyway, so I won't draw that in. So.
Well, you can draw it in. It's going to change. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. It'll be a change. So this is all reed canary grass, and then there's some really cool ants staking up in here. Wow, that took me all of what, 2 minutes? And is it beautiful? Well, yes, it's gorgeous. And it just gives me an idea of what I'm looking at. Now I can make a key on here and I can say, okay, at the asterisk is my willow. Over here, DP means dirt pile. I'd probably write better if I was sitting. The smiley face right here is mud. And then, you can keep on going. I'm just going to give this guy an S for snag. And keep on going. So this is just my view. And then once you want to get into mapping, that's when you want to do.
Is that, oh, that's a good question. Probably will answer the question, which is how big is going to be your expanse of your study set, pretty much what you drew there?
Well, okay, so two different things. So notice I'm using a really tiny piece of paper, and it's because I get a little intimidated when I have a big piece of paper that I have to cover. I like working with something a little bit smaller. And this is actually probably not going to be as big as my study area goes. So I might extend through the trees right here to where it hits field. On this side, I actually like the boundary of my study area. I'm going to keep this row of blueberries. Oops, if you can see them. So I got this big post right here and then the row of blueberries behind it. I'm going to keep that in it. And I'm probably going to end just a little bit beyond this second dead blueberry, because that will encompass not only the snag at my old study site, but it's not too big. And then I'm just going to go to the garage and straight out to where the grass starts. That might not be big enough. I don't know. We'll see. And I can make it bigger. That's the cool thing about this, because it's my study site.
Actually, the more diverse your study site is, probably the smaller it should be, because I mean,
a lot going on there,
so much
sure.
going on. This is a main animal trail right there.
Do you want me to just show mapping really fast?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to flip this over. And remember, this is just your first drawing of many drawings. And so you can do it in a whole bunch of different ways. My first drawing, chronicled. Okay, so when you're going to map the site, think about doing it from a bird's eye view. That's what we talked about, looking at the satellite images and such. And you're going to want to know north, south, east, and west. And so we bring a compass with you and check your cardinal directions, which are those. And then make sure that when you do your map, you want to always make a note of where north goes. Now, on most maps, north is pointing to the top of your paper. You don't have to set it up that way. This is your map. You can do what you want. For me, I'm probably going to set it up. I'm probably going to set it up from my view direction, actually. So for me, north is going to be facing
to the left.
To the left.
Yeah.
And so this is what it's going to look like. You're going to have that someplace on your map.
Can you lay it flat as if you're like we're looking at bird's view? Yeah. Because yours is kind of that rectangle shape, it looks like.
Yeah, I
Not
guess
that
it is.
it's not going to be a square rectangle. The actual study site obviously is going to be more natural boundaries you're going to eventually have, but whatever.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And so once again, I'm going to do this kind of like a gesture drawing where it's going to be super quick. I don't need to spend a lot of time on it. So I'm going to say, the north boundary of my area is going to be, and I can't tell from here how wavy it is, but that's okay. So I know that this boundary is going to be my garage. Oops, I got to erase that actually, because that's not going to be correct. So this boundary is my garage. This boundary is going to be something wavy. There's a field on the other side. This portion in here is a nice corridor of trees. So I'm going to call this my tree corridor. And then obviously we know this is my fence. It's going to go down to, this is my S snag. And then this is my old study site tree. Oops, I just stuck that in the field. Oh, here we go. I say you don't necessarily need an eraser, but I guess sometimes you might. So this is my old study site tree. And then this is my dead blueberry. Here's my other blueberry. Okay, so actually what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to do it. This blueberry, this is a blueberry, this is my snag. So this is like I'm looking at it from above. I've got my square post here.
And where is your square meter or square foot?
Oh yeah, I'm going to put that in. Oh, actually I should have done that first. Sorry about that. So my square foot, square meter is going to be, so.
Oh yeah, where's the, let's see, muddy trail going through?
Right, so the mud, I know, getting there. This is not to scale. Once again, this is my first one. It's a gesture drawing. So this is mud that goes in here. And later on, I'll map out where my mud actually goes and where other trees are, but it's hard for me to do that, in my first map. So this is my mud, and then my square foot and meter are going to be,
that's about a square meter
right in here, and my square foot will be there.
Could you do me a favor and walk down to show people how the expanse of that? Okay, first of all, point to the square meter.
Okay, so I am basically, my chair is basically on the edge of my square
Nice to have
meter.
a little folding chair like that, especially the older you get.
Definitely good. Definitely good. Okay, so I can reach in from where I'm sitting and touch my square foot if I want to. Right.
And then point out where the trail is, because the grass is getting so big, it's hard to see from here.
Okay, so this is where the cool trail is, the muddy trail, right here.
Okay.
Okay, so the edge is going to be this post encompassing this blueberry, which is alive.
And if you're talking, talk really loud this direction.
And this blueberry, which is dead. And this beautiful set of willow trees, which is my old study site. And then straight in here is where that snag is with the hole in it. It's awesome having that. So then the rest of this is all just branchy trees, and there's mud trails that are in here. Ooh, gotta be careful where I'm walking. And this is my weird dirt pile that may or may not
be. Are you gonna use that for like insects or something? Or
yeah, maybe.
Well, this is actually, I'm gonna spread. This is supposed to be spread out to like help fill that low spot. Hey, question for you now. That's only about 20. From the garage, about 25 feet.
Side. Do you want
so is it going to? No, we're not going to go there today.
I don't know if you guys can see it, but when you can see light through the other side of the trees, it's not that far, but there's a big field right there.
Now, my question for you, since you are fairly experienced, do you want to extend, because it's only 25 feet wide from the garage over to that second blueberry over there, do you want to extend it 100 feet down over to the edge of the creek, or is that too much? I mean, that's would be amazing.
No, I don't want to.
See, of course, I would do that because I'm so like I take too much.
Right, and I don't want to do that. I want to do a really good job and get to know this spot right in the transitions next to my house. So that doesn't mean I won't want notes about it and look at it and check it out. But that's just in exploring my general vicinity, and that's okay because those are the inputs and outputs of my study site. And so it's still important to pay attention to.
For the purpose of restoration, because that is a restored creek that was rebuilt, but because we worked on it really hard and a lot of community members did, and the conservation district, obviously. And some of our
Are you trying to talk me into something?
Families. Yeah, I mean, eventually.
I don't think that's realistic for right now.
All right.
Not for the purposes of this exercise.
True. That's true.
And I want to keep it something, because I know myself, and I want to keep it something that I will consistently do.
Should we call it a day?
Yeah, we should.
Okay.
Probably should.
All right. Welcome. I mean, everybody. I almost said welcome. Yeah, I did actually. Anyways, be well. Get out there to your study site. Find a peaceful place within it. And maybe take, it might be 2 or 3 times before you finish this field exercise, or maybe you can whip it out on one day.
Mm-hmm.
Kids can do this, elderly can do this. And like I have it on my porch, or I used to have it from inside the house. You can do this from anywhere. So I'm looking forward to those that create a public blog, and we can try to follow that while you're doing that as well, or maybe we'll see you in person.
I hear a bird that I have to look up and figure out who it is that's singing. Yes, I love that.
Okay.
So much to learn.
Let's go ahead and